Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today, we're going to be discussing a topic that has been asked over and over again. Pyareo, one thing to keep in mind while we discuss this, it's true, those that fall in love with the Kalpurk, those that fall in love with God, everything that God does, that becomes loving to them as well. There's a confusion between accepting hukum, accepting the will of God, living in that acceptance of God's will, and giving up in life. A lot of people might use the word pana or God's will in a way where it's very, you say, depressing, or you can say not in high spirits. That isn't the way where, so let's say somebody is in an abusive situation where they're being abused physically or verbally. They give up and they just say, well, I have to accept it. Acceptance. That's not what pana means. That's not what raza means. To give up. It's not meant to be in a way of tendikala, meaning a downward way of spirits. It's supposed to be in high spirits. You're supposed to be happy, you're supposed to be moving forward in Pana and Raza, and you're supposed to be living in bliss. There is a confusion between this. That's what I want to clarify. This term gets used, somebody passes away, somebody, the worst possible thing happens in a household, a business crashes, family moves apart, and they say, well, I just have to live with it. Living with it, whether you like it or you don't, that's called a word in Punjabi that we call sabr karna, which means just going with it. But when we speak about living in pana, hukum razai chalna, nanak likhe naal, is that what it means? No matter how bad the world is treating you, no matter how difficult life is, you just gotta live with it. Is that what Sikhi is teaching you? Pyareo, there is something that we're failing to understand if that's what we think. Let's break this down, and first let's look at what is hukum, raza, pana, and these senses, and which ways do we need to be able to understand them. How do we bring our state of mind to these states to be able to actually willingly and lovingly accept God's will, the act that God is doing inside of this creation. Now, if there's a confusion in your mind, before I begin, if there's a confusion in your mind based on what is free will and what is destiny, there's another video I did a couple of days ago that's called, Is God Inside of Bad People? So if that is a confusion in your mind, please go and watch that video as well. Now on this topic, if I'm in a situation where I'm being verbally, physically abused, or where it's not righteous for me to live in that way, is Sikhi teaching me, is Guru Sahib teaching me to just accept it and just do whatever you have to do and just that's your life now? No, Pyareo. Living in Pana is not passive, because if you're feeling pain, we're still living inside of ego. We're still living inside of Ankar. We're feeling pain. Living in Raza or Pana in that way is not passive, in that way where you're being oppressed. In fact, it's unrighteous to not do anything in that situation. So if you are feeling in that situation, instead of being passive, you would want to become proactive. And you would want to do the right things now to be able to make your situation better. Now, what has happened to you, what is happening to you, you don't put that upon yourself and put that as in blame or upset yourself and say, I'm giving up in life and this and that. That's not what you do. But you accept it. This is something that's happened in the past. That's a reality. Grow from that. Assess the situation. This is what's going on. And now move on to that. What can I do next? being proactive in this way. So look at the first stage. This is what a lot of people might be thinking about when they think, well, nothing, no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, I can't do anything about it. So I just have to accept it. I have to accept it for what it is, no, even if I don't like it. That might be felt as the first stage. Now, once you begin to accept that, whether you like it or you don't, you put your faith on Akal Purkh. You begin to grow your love. You put something that's not within your hands into something else, somebody else's hands. You've tried. In Gurbani, Sache Pacha says, the asan jor nahi, je kich kar hum sakeh, jyon paavai timhe bakhsh. Meaning I've tried so many different ways. I'm doing everything that I still can, but I know by me doing it by myself in this way and having faith in my own ego, it won't work. No, I do all the actions that I need to. I take every measure that I need to do by Guru Sahib, you teaching me. This is your Pana, O Sache Pacha, O Akal Purkh. There's also a difference inside of Gurbani. We'll look at it in the same way, where there's Sat Gur Ka Pana Chal, where there's the Guru's Pana, and then there is Akal Purkh's Pana. Guru Sahib is teaching you something. You go according to these teachings of Guru Sahib. You work according to these teachings, you are working in the Guru's Pana. You're accepting the overarching destiny that's being laid out, or the way you're viewing the world. When you look at it in this way and it seems to you that it's not in my control anymore, you accept it and you put it in the hands of Paramatma. You say, Sache Pacha, here's my prayer, here's my ardas. Now, what are the benefits and the powers of ardas? We'll discuss that at a different time. You put this inside of the hands of Akal Purkh, inside of the hands of Guru Sahib, and you accept. Then you move on to the next stage, which we might call Raza. This is where you begin to be okay with everything that's going on. First, you're not okay with it, but you're accepting, you have to. You're going with it. But not in the same. Giving up on life is entirely separate. That's something you don't want to do. Because if you give up on life, in life, on any situation, then you've accepted defeat. And what you're doing by doing that, you're actually turning your future karams, or the way that you could have, laid out your own path. Assessing by the situation that you're in, you could have made it a lot better. That's why I implore my brother or sister, whoever is listening, to not give up. Instead, follow along in this Guru's Pana. Accept that, then begin to be okay with it. Once you're assessing that, okay, this is the situation, what do I need to do? How do I need to become strong? How do I need to become confident to get out of this situation or improve my situation? If you're in an abusive situation and you need to escape that situation, then figure out how to do that. If you need to stand up and speak up for yourself, then you need to figure out a righteous and calm way to be able to do that. Not go through anger, not to go through any of these other things, but be able to assess the situation, what is the best for you, rather than reacting and then making your situation even worse. What is the best way you can be able to go through that? You've accepted this is my situation now. That doesn't define me. That doesn't mean that this is what the rest of my life is going to be. I love my Guru, I love my God, and I have faith in Akal Purkh, I have faith in God. Now if I put out my hand to my Guru, to my God, then God will grab my hand. Assess the situation, what different ways, methods am I able to move forward. Remember, this entire journey of your life is removing your ego, removing your agyan. This is a way to merge with Paramatma. Assess the situation, you're okay with it, and live in that raza. Whatever the will is, you are okay with it. Pyareo, there's a third thing which you want to eventually reach, the third state. This is to lovingly and excitingly, look forward to whatever the Pana is. Not just you're okay with it, not just you're unhappy with it. No, but now you're so in love with it that no matter what happens, even if it's painful to you, you're happy with it. Being happy with whatever Pana or whatever situation comes your way, that is a very high state of spirituality that you want to be able to reach through Guru Sahib's Kirpa. How do we go towards that? I want to share a small Sikhi with you, a small story to help explain how this might be exemplified. There was a Gursikh who came to Guru Arjan Dev Ji in the city of Amritsar. He came to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, his name was Bhai Gurmukh Ji. Bhai Gurmukh said to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, I have a question. My question is, in Gurbani we read all the time that there is somebody called Jivan Mukt, an avastha. Are there people who are Jivan Mukt, meaning dead while alive? People that are liberated whilst living. We read about in Gurbani, Jivan Mukt. But Pyareo, this Bhai Gurmukh Ji asked Guru Arjan Dev Ji, does this person really exist today? This might be a question that we ask. That, okay, I've given up. I can't see good in the world anywhere. Maybe it's time to step out of this life. No, it's not. Don't ever let that cross your mind. There's always, wherever there's darkness, darkness is the opposite of light. We only call something dark because light exists. This Gurmukh asks Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and he says, does a Jivan Mukh, does a liberated person while living in this world, does that person exist? How can I meet that person? Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, of course. If it's written in Gurbani, of course it exists. And you know what? I think I know who to send you to. Guru Arjan Dev Ji sends Bhai Gurmukh Ji to a Gursikh of theirs who was living outside of Amritsar. His name was Bhai Pakhari Ji. Gurmukh Ji travels, and when they arrived there, it was Bhai Pakhari Ji's son's wedding. The next day, everybody was getting ready. People are celebrating, people are feeding sweets to each other, everyone's laughing, enjoying. And he looks at everybody and he says, okay, wow, they get together, they do ardas, everyone's happy. The actual word shadi is a time of happiness, wedding time. Pyareo, we do this in life. Whenever there's a good situation, we say, this is because of my own efforts. Wow, we achieved this. But then when something bad happens, when a negative situation is being faced by us, we blame it to God. We say, God, this happened because of you. Why aren't you not helping me now? But a Gursikh, a true lover of God, they're able to, even in the difficult situations, they say, Sache Pacha, this is all within your parna. I'm okay with it. I'm living through this. I'm loving what you're giving me. And I'm going to work hard on how to use your blessings by the grace of you to move out of this negativity into positivity. And how is this going to shape me? How is this going to get me closer to you? And when there's a time of positivity, when there's a time of celebration, of success, that person says, not because of me, Sache Pacha, I've made the efforts, but this is all by your grace. Tere paane vich. When someone is born, we never say it's pana. No, we say, if you go to any elders who are Punjabi and you say, Ke pana vapar gaya, as soon as somebody is born, they'll say, why would you say that? Because automatically in the Punjabi language, pana is associated with death. But pana just means God's will, the hukam, the command. So when somebody dies or they pass away, that is pana. Coming into this world and leaving this world, that is all within pana. Coming into this world where it's a time of celebration. People hold baby showers, they hold, they cut cakes, they party, they gather together. They go to the hospital carrying flowers. Nobody says, oh, this is God's pana. But in fact, that is also pana. Coming into this world, those Gurmukhs that are Jivan Mukh, they treat it the same. When you go into this third stage of living in complete acceptance, loving acceptance, because once you're in love with God, like I said at the very beginning, anything that is working within the creation of God, done by God, then that is loving to you as well. And whatever you do, if you are able to reach that state, anything you do, God loves as well. So it goes both ways. Bhai Bhikhari ji is not celebrating amongst the rest of the people. They're sitting there and they're just weaving. They're sewing. And they're reading Gurbani. Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru. They're doing Simran. Everybody else is celebrating. But the father of the son who's getting married, he's not celebrating. He's happy. He's did ardas. Ke Sache Pacha thoda shukriya. These are your blessings. Bhai Gurumukh ji stays that night. The next day comes. Those same people, everybody that was celebrating, such an incident happened that the groom passed away. Everybody was looking forward to the wedding day. But no, it was the groom's doomsday. The groom passed away. Now everybody is mourning, everybody is crying. Except for Bhai Bhikhari ji. They're still in the same state. They're unwavered by any of this. They're still sitting there, they're weaving. They go and they sit beside their son's dead body and they read Bani. They do Gurmantar. They do Ardas. They're unwavered, they're unaffected by this. Bhai Gurumukh ji goes up to them and he asks them, "Oh Gursikh, I see that you're great. Did you know that this was going to happen to your son?" And he said, coming and going in this world is part of God's will. We all know that it's going to come at some point, and yes, with Guru Sahib's blessings, I had anticipated it. Bhai Gurumukh ji says that if you knew, then why did you do Ardas yesterday for the wedding? And Bhai Bhikhari ji said, no, I didn't do Ardas in happiness that we are doing this and this is all because of our success. I said, Sache Pacha, these are your blessings, this is the state. And even if we're in a time of negativity or a time of sadness, then even that is your prana. We are asking for your shukr. We're asking for your blessings even then. Unwavered. Dukh mein dukh nahi manna. Sukh sane pair nahi jaake kanchan matti manna. That Gursikh that is able to see gold and dirt to be the exact same, pain and pleasure to be the same, that person is truly Jivan Mukt. And Bhai Gurumukh ji realized that day what it means to be able to, we feel pain because of things that we attach to in this life. We attach to so many things. As soon as we're able to realize that these things are not going to go with us, and in the end, we step away and we say, why am I attaching myself to this? Move it away. You are able to step towards the stairs and climb up towards bliss. This is what it means. Hukum razai chalana. Nanak likhya naal. People said, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is having these conversations. There are ways that people try to reach enlightenment. They either stayed super quiet. They tried keeping the body super clean. They either tried to become the greatest scholars in the world, having lots of knowledge. All of these different ways were tried. They tried meditating. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, all of these things, done in the right way, they help. If done in the wrong way, you gain nothing from that. Chupa chupa na hove. By just becoming quiet, closing your mouth and your mind is not quiet, you actually haven't done anything. What is the way to completely remove this ego and merge with God? Hukum razai chalana. Nanak likhya naal. By completely accepting the hukum and living your life in that raza. Going in the will of God. Being unwavered by this, by detaching. By going in this flow constantly. No matter what comes your way. You are not affected by it. Let it, if it comes in your life, just let it go. If it comes, let it go. If it comes, let it go. And then move forward. Just keep moving forward on your path. Because nothing can stop you. Nothing can hinder you. This body is not going to go with you in the end. So then don't let things that are affecting your body. Somebody says something to you. If they say, hey Jaspreet, hey Sunny, hey Harpreet, you're like this, you're such a bad person. Then That is a name associated with your body. That's not what your true form is. That's not what you should truly define yourself to be, is limited to the names people call you or the things that they do to your body, the things that the ways they slander you. None of this matters. You get beat. Our ardas as a Gursikh, as a Sikh, is filled with all of this. Look, no other, I could say path has this Sikh ardas where no matter if it's a child is being born, we do ardas and we remember those that were beat, those that were hung upside down and their skins were peeled, those people that were grinded on big wheels, those people that had their body cut to bits. We don't remember, nobody else remembers that. And when a child is born, we remember that, we do ardas. When it was somebody's wedding, guess what? We remember those shaheed Singhniya as well. When somebody passes away, we remember them as well. At all times, we remember them. Every day we remember these shaheeds. This is not something that is affecting those Gurmukhs, Gursikhs that are going into this state. So giving up in life, that is completely different than being accepting of life. When you say that I've just given up, I'm just like, just go, okay, I'm okay with whatever happens and so be it. Pyareo, if you take that towards a very depressing state, you're actually confusing yourself with what actually accepting and living in Pana means. Living in Pana means to detach from all of these other things. Be proactive, move forward, use your karmas, use your actions in a way to improve your situation. Get out of that situation, become righteous so you can help other people. Look at all of these Guru Sikhs that lived in Pana, lived in Raza, lived in the accepting will of God. They did all of the great things. They stepped out of these situations not thinking for themselves. And today, they help the world. We remember those people as great beings, as great heroes of our Panth, as great heroes of the world. That is what we want to strive to be, spiritually and practically. So, my ardas to you, my request to you is don't give up using on any of these things. Instead, do ardas to Akal Purkh. Sache Pacha, I am in this situation. I feel dark. I feel like I've given up. Truly know this to be that as soon as you feel that I have nobody else in life anymore, that is the right time to reach out to God. Because when somebody has 5 other friends they can rely on, then they kind of put Guru Sahib and Akal Purkh not as high on a pedestal because they still have faith on other things. But when you truly feel in your life that, look, I have nobody else in life, all my faith is on you. That's 100% faith. That is what it truly means to go into that third state. Some people call it tasleem, some people call it loving will of God, some people call it, fully immersed in Guru's raza. You want to dive into that. Don't give up in that way. Instead, do ardas, place your faith in Akal Purkh at that time. And then, here are some things that you should seek towards. Seek out those that are always in high spirits. Just like Bhai Gurmukh Ji had a doubt in his mind. How do these people that are liberated while living in this world, do they exist? Yes. Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, yes, they exist. You go out and seek the company of those types of people, those types of Gursikhs. Because by sitting inside of their Sangat, sitting with them, learning from them, hearing their conversations, your mind that's in low spirits will automatically go into high spirits. That is the power of Sadh Sangat, Sadhwan di Sharan. It's not just a few people get together and they talk and they have some pizza every night and just because they were a couple of kripans and dastar, or they might, be going to a congregation together. Sadhwan di Sangat is those people that are liberated whilst living in this world. They exist, very rare. Verle ke they are. They're very rare to find in this world, but they exist and you can go out and search for them. Pyareo, if you have that true faith inside of your heart, that this test, the greatest diamonds are created when they get put under pressure. So going up and saying that I've given up in life, that's not an option. use it, step out, change your situation, accept what is happening. Even if it's difficult now, just say, you know what, I'm not happy with what's happening. That's okay. You accept it, go with it, then begin to become okay with it. And after that, once you reach these spiritual stages through sadhuan di sangat and Guru Sahib's kirpa, you can begin to rise into that state where you say that I love everything that's happening. Pain, pleasure, no matter what happens, I love it. And that radiance will spread out into the world. You rise above your body, you emerge into God. So these are some questions that we get asked all of the time on Facebook, on Instagram, in our comments on YouTube. And because we're doing all of these live videos, I want to ask the Sangat, if you have questions that you would like to have answered, please comment them down in the YouTube comments or in the Facebook comments. Something that might have been bothering you, something that you think is worth making a video on. Because if you have this question, you're probably not the only one that has that question. A lot of people might be thinking that same question and they might be struggling because of that. So let's open this discussion, let's have this conversation. And if you enjoyed something in this video, you thought something was helpful, please let me know in the comments below, because that's very helpful, good feedback for myself as well and for the rest of the team that works here at Basics of Sikhi. Alongside this, there's a lot of seva that needs to be done. If you're looking for something to do, you're saying my life, I have lots of time on my hand because of the quarantine or isolation, and you're saying I have some skill that I want to put to use for this for the panth, then now is the time that you can reach out to us. So let us know either in the comments or email us at Basics of Sikhi to say, because there's a couple of Guru Sikhs who want to make animations of Toy Prasad Saviye, or they want to make a presentation on Toy Prasad Saviye, but they're looking for somebody to help with illustrations on that. So if there's an artist out there that can help illustrate Toy Prasad Saviye, that would be grateful. Somebody else wants to put another skill of theirs to use for the panth, now is the time to do it. Don't sit at home and be like, you know what, I have nothing to do and what's the point anymore. No, this is a great opportunity. You stand up, you step out, you use every situation, you accept it to be, you love it, and then whatever positivity, negativity comes inside of your life, all of that becomes loving to you, you become loving to God, and vice versa. It's a two-way thing. It's not a one-way thing. In Asadivar we read, Ek nahi aski, jitpo khasam na jaye. What type of true love is that which is one-sided? Which you say to God, when you do good things for me, then I like you. When you don't do good things for me, then I don't like you. Pero that's not the type of Guru Sikh that we want. So that basically was the question to this. That was the conversation for this question. I have a couple of other questions which we're going to be going through in different videos. So if while talking, while speaking, I've made many mistakes, if I've said anything wrong, if I've hurt anybody's heart, please forgive me. Inniyan sevaਵਾਂ, inniyan ਬੇਨਤੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਨ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।